How's it going, friends, and welcome back to the channel. So, sort of a little bit different, very different subject. So, I don't do unboxings very often, but I've been looking forward to this kit for quite some time. Before I go into it, I just want to say this kit has actually been sent to me. I haven't paid for it, they haven't asked me for anything, they're not paying me. So, everything is of my own opinion. From ScaleX, it's the 1901 Burrell Compound Traction Engine. I've been wanting to do a traction engine for a long time, and I'm glad this has come out. Obviously, this is the 1/16 scale. Eventually, there'll be a 35th scale of this. At the time, this is retailing roughly at around just under £300. Now, I can appreciate this isn't going to be in everybody's price range, but you do find with kits like this, and particularly resin kits, they do command a little bit more money. Now, there is going to be that 35th scale one coming, which I think is going to be around about the £80 mark. Now, would I have paid for this? Yeah, there's probably a good chance. There's another version that another type that they're bringing out, the steamroller. I will be buying that regardless. Because it looks epic, and I think it would be great sat next to this one. And I think if they bring out other ones, there's probably a good chance, because I love this sort of stuff. So there's probably a very good chance I may be going into some sort of overdraft with this. Let's have a quick look at the outside of the box. This is quite a big, as you can imagine. So hopefully we can see and everything. I'm going to glare off my light. So on the bottom side, if you like, we have a bit of historical background about the traction engine. I'd like to say two colour schemes, but there's two green schemes. There is some slight differences in them. This one's based off the traction engine called the Old Dutch. Got a figure with it as well, and we have a selection of colours to be used. Seems to be a bit of a mix. No, they're all AK, sorry, by the looks of that coding. Tells you also pretty much what the colours are there. Sorry. Oh no, sorry. I'm trying to do this too quickly. I'm going to slow down. Oh yeah, so these. Sorry, this is what I'm getting confused. I'm looking across rather than sections. So we've got this section here is for the traction engine itself. This one for the figure. So it does tell you. So obviously the colours with this one, obviously it's that skin tone. It's got naturally grey hair. The shirt colour and all that sort of stuff. Both ends, side ends, have basically the picture of the traction engine, and on the top a couple of warning storage conditions about the kit, and obviously we have some photos of the model built. These are not CAD drawings, these are actually photos of the model finished. So, box open and see what's inside. So, first off, I have had this slightly open. I haven't gone into it properly, but I've had a quick look what's in it. So we have basically the decal sheet and certificate of authentication, so which is actually quite neatly done in kind of a postcard style of the box art, which is very nicely done. And the bottom, kind of like a bit of a sort of a thank you there and a bit of information. Basically signed. This actually is signed, it's not printed. As you can see, mine says sample out of 500, which I kind of like. I think it's kind of cool. And again, signed by and certified by the devs at ScaleX. So the decals, I'm not actually sure who these are printed by. I didn't look at this or actually ask, which is a bit stupid of me. So yeah, so basically these sort of the painted lines that go around the engine. Registration and some dials. We've got white backed, and I assume they're going to be, obviously they're going to be clear backed, so well they're clear, so not even backed at all. There some more dials, whether they're made, are they spare? They are spare. So again, just a couple. This is the most of these are sort of the pinstripe lines that go around. Some of these, like on this one, whoops, he's dropped it. There we go. Are basically these are the ones that get the design that go on the spokes. They look really nice. They look as they should be in register. There's no sort of like, you know, overlaps of the design. Everything's all nice and crisp and sharp. I'm not sure what these are for, these straight ones, but we know they're going to be fun because they're obviously going to be thin and straggly, so they'll be interesting to figure out. I'm going to tidy these up afterwards. We've gone through this. Had the instructions come. They do come in a cellophane bag. But we'll have a proper look at those in a moment. Bit of foam, and then we have the parts themselves. So as we can see, they are all individually bagged. The one thing now, obviously these would have been sent out in group, you know, cartons if you like. I'm not 100% sure I like the fact that they're just all in the box. Obviously I haven't had a proper I've literally had one or two of the top ones out. I've left it as pretty much because I wanted to show you as it comes. And I don't know, this probably would have bumped the price up if we had basically, you know, foam sections and stuff to hold these in place, but I don't know. I don't know, because these are chunky, mostly chunky parts. I'm just not sure if I would have preferred seeing them you know, sort of sandwiched in some bits of foam, maybe. I'm not sure. They don't seem to have they've moved around a lot or done everything. There's a couple of the ones that I've looked at, you know, everything apart from I know one I did see earlier has sort of come off. We keep going to call these sprue gates. The supports, it's this one. One of the small bars has come off, which we'll have a look in a bit. But they're all heat shrink wrapped together. So yeah, so what I'll do is I'll move this and we'll get bits out sort of relatively individual. I won't go through every single part because, you know, we'll be here forever. But just to give you a good idea on, you know, what the parts are like as they are. So we'll do that. Okay, so we will start off with the instructions first. I'm going to move a wire out of the way. Start that again. Okay. So we're going to start with our instructions first. Just in the case of retention. So, nice A4 book. Thank you for choosing ScaleX. You've got a QR code there as well, which takes you to the channel, their channel, sorry. So, as we open up, we have a bit of history, a bit of information about the designers, David and Amanda Jones, that have worked very hard on this. They chose ScaleX as basically someone to basically build the model for them so they could sell. Long story short, obviously they became sort of like a partnership with this. So really nice people. I will link a video to Ms. Modeler's channel, which has an interview with these guys. A really nice wholesome video to watch of the guys and talking about the whole thing. First page, got the parts all numbered, obviously because they're mostly relatively obvious parts when you look at, I mean, maybe it's just because that's the way I look at on the sprues. I don't necessarily look at the numbers, I actually look for the part, and then if I can't find it I'll use the number. But so everything's all nicely presented out, nice and clear, with the item and its relative number. So I have had a look at this online because this was available, the instructions were available quite early, well, relatively early on. And what I've noticed is that the fact that they're done in a way that you can sort of, and this is very much the way I paint, is you can basically part build and paint sections, and then you're able to then add them together, which for me I find a lot easier. It is a bit more time consuming doing it that way, but you do get areas that are obviously tight to paint later on. There is obviously kind of like, we'll say, a lot of lumps and bumps across the model, because obviously compared to obviously in aircraft and tanks, which are kind of more blocky, if you like. So just really, I think this is really nicely laid out. I think it's very obvious on how parts are supposed together from what the quick look I had when it was online. Obviously I haven't really looked at this, I just got this out the cellophane ready to go, so we didn't have to listen to the rattling. But yeah, I think it's very nicely laid out. Very clearly points out what part should be what colour. But yeah, I think it's just very nicely done, very nicely laid out. I think is very clear. We have got some, I haven't got to that part yet. There are some copper rods to go in that need to be formed around the boiler and into their respective holes. But yeah, I just think it's really nice. Obviously most of this is pretty much done, sorry, all done in CAD. Now this is looking very realistic, so I don't know how they've done that, but that looks nice there with the top copper looking very shiny. So I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to try and make these look good rather than just sort of just pull some copper paint. I probably will end up using just some copper paint, but try and make these look nice and used. I've got a plan already. We all know how this is going to go if you follow the channel. This isn't going to be a beautiful, it will be a beautiful engine once it's finished, but it won't be beautiful and shiny once I'm done with it. But yeah, long and short of it, I think this is a very nice instruction manual. I think it's probably one of the best ones I've actually seen, in my opinion. We have option of popping coal in, so we've got a nice little section of coal which has got a couple of struts on it, so it makes it look like it's full. You could obviously change that out for real coal, or something like that, make it look real if you like. Got a couple of accessories. I knew of the shovel, I didn't know of the grease cans, which I probably should have known they would have been in there, so that's cool. But yeah, colour reference, obviously the picture of the finished model there. Information about spares. So yeah, it's a nice crisp clean book, and this is sort of kind of colour options or schemes, scheme A and B. The only real difference is sort of this bottom section here. I don't know what it's called because I don't know anything about traction engines, but yeah, so that one's green, that one's black. As you can see, if I just flick that page back and forwards, that's kind of the only difference. So yeah, I think there's a difference here as well. On the foil, I want to say it's like a foil, but might be the bottom, sort of like the step plate, I think, maybe. Is it? I don't know. I'll be honest with you, I don't know. I know very little about these things, so. But yeah, I think that's a really nice, very presentable instruction book. Right then, so let's have a look at some of these parts. Now, they have managed to cram a lot of parts in onto sort of, I'm going to call it one block. I was going to call it sprue, but it's one block. I did have a few parts, actually I think it was the only part that fell off, come loose. No, there was that one there as well, sorry. But at least at least with these, you know, they are all in bags, you'd have seen earlier on, so you're not particularly going to lose them. What I think I would have liked to have seen, which is the thing I couldn't think of earlier on in the video, was putting these in like little cages. I don't know if that adds more money to this kind of thing, because obviously you're putting more resin into it, but tiny little cages for them to go in, I think would have been potentially better, especially with some of these ones, some of this with the smaller parts or the more delicate parts, because of course, you know, they're going to rattle around a little bit in the box, and everything, as you've seen earlier on, was quite sandwiched in, which I suppose in some cases may have stopped them from sort of too much damage. There is a layer of foam on the top and bottom of them, but as you can see, I've had a few parts come off. They weren't broken. I had one piece that was broken, but it was a very thin part anyway, so it probably was potentially inevitable in the case of the way these were packed. And also there you can see on the boiler there was a couple of dimples in there, but to be fair, there was no actual damage. There was a couple of scratches, but again, they don't really make much difference. You can sand them out. If anything, there'll be some cleanup that needs to be done anyway. But as you can see from these photos, because I didn't film this very well, I was just very excited about the kit. The detail is absolutely exceptional, and of course in the scale it makes it a lot easier. So I'll be very interested to see what the 35th one will look like and how that goes together. There are also a couple of extra little bits like these brass rods for some tubing. There's some good instructions to show you how long and how they need to be bent in their 1:1 scale. And we've got this nice
you'll go on about that
well
fucking hours
for the water levels, if I remember rightly. And also, as you've seen in that little segment, there is the figure to go with it as well, which is a nice touch within this kit. Now, I've actually already started building this kit, and I've been completely honest, and it's no form of because I've got the kit for nothing, this, that and the other. It is beautiful, and I'm really having fun building this kit so far. So I hope you will join me with the actual build video of this, and if you follow us on Facebook, Instagram, you'll see soon the updates and photos of the build. So this leads me to shamelessly ask you to like and subscribe to the channel. If you put notifications on, it will notify you when the video of this build is available. I'd also like to give a massive shout out to channel members for helping support financially to the channel. If you'd like to help with the channel, there are links in the description down below, but obviously the classics of liking and subscribing, and also hyping the video, because that's the thing these days apparently. So thank you ever so much, it really does mean a lot to me. So that's it from me. I hope you enjoyed this little video, and again, join me on the journey of this build. I think you are going to enjoy it, and hopefully enjoy the finish I do this model in. So again, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you again soon.